Welcome to the Human Design Festival.
Live in Sofia and online worldwide.
Hello and welcome to the virtual space of the Human Design Element. My name is Lucretia and here is Veronica. Hello to you, Veronica.
Hello, everybody. Nice to have you with us and to present you our lovely speakers. And today we have Darshana Mathews, a direct student of Rauruhu, a dear teacher of mine. I studied all the way through cosmology with her. So, hello to you. Lovely to have you here.
Well, thank you. Hi, everyone, and hello to both of you. And I'm happy to be here. Yes.
So this year's festival theme is Be in Your Element. What's your groove? So, Darshana, what is your groove?
Mhm. I think that probably the way we best understand what our groove is, at least from the way that I see the world, is by tuning into what our purpose is in life. And if I look back on my life, the thematic has always been to be in service of people, to support them in their transformation and their differentiation and finding their uniqueness of living free from um, judgment of others and sort of my design moon is at the gate of oppression in the line of futility. So my body is just attuned to the feelings of futility and oppression that we live in life. And and that has what has driven me. My focus has been is to find how do we how do we transform that? How do we move beyond it? So my element really is I found it when I found human design. I tried a lot of things. I was studying as I studied so many things. 2 years as an opera singer and music major, and then theater, and got my master's in theater, and went to New York and worked on television and stage, and all of it was with that focus of how can I be something where people can go home a little bit more whole, a little bit more kind to themselves and feeling loved. And so that's my groove. And so I do it with human design, and I find it to be the purest form for me to communicate to people their beauty.
Actually, for those who don't know so much about you, can you tell us who is Darshana? I know you're Open G, yet can you tell us more about you?
Well, yes, I'm a splenic projector. I'm going to assume everybody knows some basic things about human design, so I won't explain what those things mean. But I just have the root defined to the spleen with two channels. And so I'm a pressurized awareness projector and intuitive and an instinctive awareness. And I have no activations, a completely open heart center, a completely open G center, and a completely open head center. So according to Ra, the centers where we have nothing activated in are the ones where we aren't really here to work on that in our lives. It's the other ones. And so for me, that's definitely in the throat. And I have one gate in the solar plex, gate 22, and two gates in the sacral, which is 27 and 3. And the 27 is whenever I have energy, it's to take care of my peeps, to take care of my people. And the way that my energy moves towards taking care of my people is that third gate to bring transformation. And those are my channels, transformation and judgment. I'm on the cross of service. You can look at your design and you can look at your path. You enter into form, right? Your birth time, and you get your imprint. And then you can track actually the entire life with solar returns and cycles and all these things. You can see what the learning signposts are throughout the life. And the Chiron is where we flower. And for me, the flowering is the cross of individualism. So I'm in service of individualism. And when I understood that from the orientation of human design, everything in my life made sense. Why I didn't fit certain places, why I left certain studies and jobs. And like one time I got accepted to a college in Long Beach because I'd been working since I was I got a job when I was 15. I'd been working in fashion at a store and learned to be the buyer for the junior department and dress the windows and the displays and all of these things. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go and be an interior designer, or create beauty. I'm going to go be maybe a model because I was good enough looking then. And I got accepted to there, and then I thought, I can't spend the rest of my life selling clothes to people, and so I just canceled it and I didn't go. Because and you would think, well, you got accepted and it was, sounded fun. It was in LA, and no, my path was a very distinct path. All of us are. And so I'm a 3-5. I make bonds, I break bonds. I started to go that way, and I broke my bond with that way. And I've studied and worked with many teachings, many teachers, always making a bond and then breaking the bond because I'm a path of individualism. And I met human design in 2005, so a while ago. So I got to have the experience of Ra for the 6 years that he had left living. He died in 11. And that was my landing point when I met human design. It was like I watched it for a while. It was sort of like, okay, so where's the lie in this one? Because I would always meet what was inauthentic in something, where there was an agenda, where there was somebody's ego, where there was all these different things. And I kept watching Ra, because he had a very strong presence. And I couldn't feel any agenda in him other than to bring the knowledge to us. So at a certain point, I just went, okay, I've found it. It's clean. That's my spleen talking, right? It's clean. This is a clean, healthy, safe thing to use to commit my life to. And I've been working with human design ever since then. I became a teacher pretty early on and been working through, I worked first with Human Design America, and Genoa Bliven, the wonderful man that he is, supported me in coming through to be certified all the way up through the PTL4, which is the certification for being an analyst courses. And then Linda invited me over to the international school, and I teach all 4 of the analyst levels. And then she invited me to help to support the rave cosmology or biversity. And so I teach the cosmology courses, which fits really into my interest in life. That I like to know the why of the unknown, right? The why of the why does it of the unknown on any level, right? Like right now my knee hurts. I'm having trouble with my knee. And finally I found someone who would explain exactly to me the structure and how it works and all these different things. And then I could go, okay, now I can be with that because now I understand it. And that's what human design did for me about existence. Okay. I mean, of course, we could language it in another way. This is a system. It's a mechanical tool. We could call it other things. It could be the light of the light system, But this is the one that worked for me. And I feel that all modalities enter into the understanding of existence and spirit and before and afters of existence. They all enter into the same place, but with a different modality, with a different view, with a different way of incorporating it, so that life becomes meaningful to them. Unfortunately, a lot of people then think theirs is the right way, and then they lock it down and they turn it into a hardened thing. As soon as you lock something down, it's no longer alive. Life is mutative. Life is continually moving on. So, prior to human design, I mean, I live in Denmark, and I have a lovely husband who I have been together with for something like 37 years. And I have a beautiful son. He's a manifester on the Cross of Healing. And he's got a baby boy that's 5, who's a projector like me, 3-5. And he in January got 2 baby girls, twin manifestors. And my son's a
Oh, wow.
manifester. Yeah, so it's kind of fun that there's, like, in my life, there's always been so many manifestors, meaningful beings like Genoa, like Ra, like so many of the beings that have been important to me, and on my fractal have been manifestors. And And I love being a projector, you know? I mean, thank God, right? It's good to love what you are, right? That's the whole idea. And, but it's like, I could never, I know this is one of your questions. I could never understand why I couldn't do what other people could do. Because I would say, I've got that pressurized route. I'll do it. You know, if it needs to be done, I will make sure it gets done, you know, and I will burn myself out. I mean, in the past, I was always overwhelmed by what I committed to and ended up getting sick or something like that, breaking down the body. And when I heard that projectors weren't here really to work, they were here to guide, I was just like, wow. That sounds like a free pass out of responsibility at first, right? It's like, well, that's a pretty good thing to come up with. No, I'm a projector. I'm not here to work. But I could totally get it in my body. And my husband's an emotional manifesting generator, you know, so when I explained it to him, he could finally get it. And then we were able to be able to work together where I could take in all of his energy and he could see that I wasn't doing what I should be doing. And then he learned to use his energy and then call me when it was needed, you know, for some guidance. So it made everything easier. That's what human design says is, you know, when you're in alignment, you don't meet with the resistance in life. It has its flow. It has its challenges, but it has its flow. So that's a bit about me. I grew up on a farm. My dad was a farmer and of what we call a dirt farmer. He grew tomatoes and wheat and feed corn. And we lived out in the country and in California in the valley. And it was beautiful. I mean, then all I wanted to do was get out of it, you know. But as soon as I was old enough, I mean, I'm that third line. I took off, but I I look back on it now and feel like it was really a gift to be able to have been part of nature in that way. And I like to go back to that now, to go back to nature. So I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, and in theater, I went into theater. I only would work in plays that I felt were meaningful. And until I was in New York, and then I worked in soap operas. One of the least meaningful things you can do, but it paid well. And so then it gave me the freedom to do other things. So yeah, that's a bit of it.
And love stole you to Europe afterwards, to Denmark.
Yeah, well, yeah, it took a while. I was in New York and I had already begun transitioning towards I was between my Saturn return and my Uranus opposition. And and I heard about a place in northern Italy that was about awakening and a different modality of awakening. And I thought, okay, I had had some good work, had some money. I bought a one-way ticket and just said, let the winds of fate blow my boat. You know, I'm on my journey. I've felt what I needed. I experienced what I needed in theater, you know, like the validation or the creativity or what. Also with, you know, I trained as an opera singer and I had a friend who got to she was understudying a part at the Metropolitan Opera and she called and she was like, I'm going on tonight. And I saw her on stage and that kind of completed it for me. My dream of being at La Scala or at the Met or something like that. And it's like, okay, it's actually not really what I want to do. I love harmony. I love patterns. I love music. I love the way life comes into expression. And that's what attracted me by music and theater, where you could bring words out to bring something of meaning to others. And I found that the whole thing, you could see I'm a bit expressive, right? Human design gave me this with the teaching, you know, where I can share and be with people, but also be in my own space. And yeah, so I bought a one-way ticket. I ended up in Italy there for about a year and then wandered on and at some point I wandered to Denmark and then I met Nils.
Beautiful story.
So, Darshana, I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Um, you know that every time when we meet the human design knowledge, one of the first concepts that we hear is about the mind, the not self mind, or the mind that is not here to make decisions. So I would like to ask you, how was it for you when you first heard that? And was it too much of a struggle, or it was something that you applied easily?
Mm. Yeah, it is an important question. And if you saw my design, you'd see that I have 7 open centers. And the 2 that I have defined, again, is the root and the spleen. So for me, I have this really heightened sense of awareness, pressurized awareness. And so the mind part of me, I mean, I love learning. It's something that I shared. I like to understand how things work. And I wanted to understand religion, so I minored in religious studies. I wanted to know why people selected things and then pulled it over there and left everyone else alone. So the mind represented for me, and still does, um, total delight. I love that I have conscious mind and can learn and watch and have all of the beauty that the mind brings. But when and human design, of course, was saying, when we make decisions about our lives from the mental construct, it's not us because it's what we've taken in from outside. That was the distinction, really, because I had been, once as a teenager, I went really deep into Christian youth, and then I saw how it excluded everything else. So then I I went into studying of religious studies and studying Buddhism and Taoism and Hinduism and a lot of the Eastern religions. And they look a lot at what is mind and how do we drop the mind and how do we come to a place of stillness and neti neti, not this, not that, just here. So the human design question for me, what was the most meaningful about it was that the mind, if I make decisions based on what I've learned and what I've seen and taken in and other people's opinions and stuff, I'm in pain, is what I felt. My spleen is like I'm wearing clothes that don't fit. It's not mine. And one of the strongest things that I found in the beginning was I always used to think that my intuitive, instinctive awareness, my fear, it's a fear center. An awareness center is a center of fears, that I was just neurotic. That I would think, oh no, I can't do that. This person doesn't feel and then I think, oh, you're so neurotic, Darshana. You're so like maladjusted to human life. And so there would be all these ideas that would come in that were external voices. But I very early on had started asking myself, why do I think that? I mean, even as a teenager, I would make sure that I walked when I go to work, I would walk home different ways because I thought if I walk the home the same way, I'll fall asleep. I'll just become dead. Repetition, just blah, blah. So even as a teenager, this pressurized awareness was looking for how to be aware. And when the knowledge of human design that says there's this construct, a design side and a personality side, and they come together, creates this unique consistency, this unique, reliable resource. And I started recognizing that's exactly what I thought was my neuroses. And it's not, it's actually my resource. That was freedom. So that's when I got the mind aspect of it was, I am here to be what this has been what I've been living through all along. And now I just understand how to engage with it, how to watch it, how to play with it. But I still, I'm I'm a nerd. And I'm not very, I don't know if you'd call me on the spectrum or something because you can hear I'm talking a lot, but I have a very narrow opening to being with others. And I always thought that that meant that hold on just a sec. I'm in an interview, sweetheart.
Yeah, no, but
Okay, my manifesting generator's here. Sorry, guys. Where was I? What about the mind? A lot of times people, I'm distracted.
That's what makes it fun. Life is happening to us all the time.
Life happens all the time. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Off he goes. A lot of people say you're always in your mind to me. And I will say sometimes, where else would I be? That's where my awareness is. I also have physical awareness. I have smell, I have taste, I have touch. But my awareness is focused from what I'm perceiving and interpreting of what I perceive. And I love that. As I said, I like to understand things. And so I think it's important for all of us to get that what human design is guiding us towards isn't that you aren't a mental being. We are. And we have feelings and our mind notices them as we feel them. It's all intertwined. But when we make decisions that are mental, it's a result of information and experiences we've taken in from other people. It has nothing to do with us. And that, I think, is the key point. And that's what made a difference for me, to see it doesn't matter what you think about me. It doesn't matter what you think I should do. It doesn't matter. I mean, I have compassion and empathy for you, that you have those feelings and this and that, but I have to live my life. And that's coming back to strategy and authority, as opposed to living into the constructs, the mental constructs. Does that make sense?
Not only it makes sense, but you're making such a great point, because when we enter into human design, a lot of people hear the concept of no mind like the mind is the enemy. But actually, it's about not really taking decisions with your mind, not that you should not conceptualize and think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because that's what Ross said about human design. He said, this is a mental system because that's where we hang out. We hang out in perception. So if we enter into something, and what it did is it gave me access to my instinctive and intuitive awareness without my mind editing it, saying that's neurotic, Darshana, behave yourself. I could just say, okay, so that is how I perceive the world. This is what I am. And that's freedom. Yeah.
yeah.
Beautifully said. So we are really thrilled that you are coming live to Bulgaria and doing a session at the International Human Design Festival in Sofia, and also online. And you guys, if you would like to see more, follow us on the social media and stay tuned, because we have a lot of surprises coming up. And once again, thank you, Darshana, for your amazing, touching wisdom.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys for doing this. It's been an interesting development over the last couple of years that more and more live events are happening with human design, and there's such grace and nourishment that comes from being in aura with others. To be able to feel yourself and be next to somebody else who's different design. Obviously we're all different, but to feel, okay, and see the creativity, see the way that you understand life and human design and the way I do. So thank you both really for your courage in taking on a project like this. and for inviting me to be part of it. I really I deeply value that. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, me
thank
and
you so
Veronica, we
much.
believe that these times really are asking us to do more and more live events with human design and support and nurture our spirit because really crazy times are coming up.
Are already here. The drill is over, guys. So if you'd like to experiment really with your design, live in Aura from the 22nd to the 25th of January 2026, or if you cannot make it live, we would love to have you also online. From the 30th of January till the 1st of February, we have a great lineup of speakers. And our lovely Darshana, we're so grateful that you accepted our invitation, and we're gonna rub ourselves in your aura. So, yeah. Thank you again, and see you soon.
Yes, I look forward. January.
Yay.
See
Bye
you
for
soon.
now.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Would you like to join us?
And truly be in your element.